So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Fletch, 1985. I'm giving it 2 out of 5 stars. I just like this movie. This is going to be another lamestream movie with a bunch of big name actors, including but not limited to Emmet Walsh. And it's supposed to be one of Chevy Chase's all-time great movies. I just liked it. It couldn't make up its mind if it wanted to be a noir or a really dumb Chevy Chase comedy. And I think it fell on the latter rather than the former. It fell on the latter, not the former. And anyways, it's not a great flick. As you can see, I'm in the boring section of my Netflix queue with all the Emmet Walsh 80s movies. Emmet Walsh does this little cameo routine. Dr. Loose Fingers, or whatever his name is. And none of the jokes were funny. The only good part that I like was the police corruption angle. It's got Mitchell Jodan Baker as the corrupt police chief. Usually he's the beer guzzling incompetent cop in Mitchell, but not in this one. He plays the police chief who's dealing drugs on the side, and that police corruption plot was about the only good thing going for it in this movie. Chevy Chase was boring, like I said. His jokes were dumb. He tries to be sarcastic, and his disguises are really dumb. I can't imagine that he could play people like that, and they just look at him like he's some kind of disguised genius. That part was totally contrived and phony, I guess. And anyways, so Fletch is a investigative journalist, and he's working in Los Angeles area. He tries to pose as a beach junkie, and because he's trying to figure out where the drugs are coming from, so he can write an investigative journalism piece. His pen name is Jane Doe, and then the dude from Animal House comes moseying around the beach, gives him $1,000 to make a proposition to him that is quite sizable estate there, and he's married to the blondie. She doesn't know how to play tennis, but he proposes that he says that he has cancer and he wants Fletch to murder him so that he can collect on his life insurance. It doesn't really make sense. If he had cancer, why wouldn't he just wait until he died and then give his life insurance? So that part didn't really make sense, but Fletch goes along with it. He's offered $50,000 to do it. Then he starts investigating the guy. Turns out he's in on the drug smuggle with the cops somehow, and he's also married to somebody else. So he's committed bigamy, even in the state of Utah, according to Fletch. And so he's kind of flirting with the wife, the blondie wife, not the other Utah wife, but the blondie wife. He's kind of flirting with her, and he tells her what's going on. She's disgusted by the whole thing, and she agrees to help him catch this guy. So it's pretty much the movie. Lots of disguises, lots of dumb jokes. Fletch dresses up in all these costumes, like a jet mechanic, a roller skating kind of new age guy. He fancies himself as a forward for the Los Angeles Lakers. He likes to wear Los Angeles Lakers jerseys and stuff. So there's that. Pretty lame music, 80s kind of music. I'm not really into that 80s pop music. I thought it was horrible at the time. I thought it was so bad that I tended to listen to more weird stuff on college radio, just as sort of a backlash against the pop music from the 80s. And now that I'm listening to it, the song bit by bit, now I can understand why I actually did that. Because it's pretty lame. It sounds like a Patti LaBelle song or something. Patti LaBelle. I don't know what made me just think of her, but anyways. That's about all I have to say about Fletch. It's pretty bad. Of course, it gets high ratings and reviews on IMDb, Netflix, you name it, all over the place. It's very popular, and don't ask me why. But this is why I dislike lamestream movies, even the ones from the 80s and the 90s. They're just something that I try to avoid, but since I want to see all the Emmet Walsh movies on Netflix, they sent me the stinker ones, at least in this section of my queue. So I'm going to watch Ordinary People whenever they get around sending it to me. Hopefully I can finally finish up watching Daddy-O. I finally got through all of my Monopoly tickets. I want another $5 cash. Wasted half of my day going through those tickets looking for $10,000 cash. I ended up with $5 cash, which is the same price that I won earlier this week. Now, with the coronavirus situation here, the governor's talking about tracing people and separating families, which is kind of ironic because he was complaining about families being separated at the border. Now he wants to do it to separate families if they've been in contact with the coronavirus, and they're already starting to do it in Ventura County. So he kind of took a step forward with reopening the state a tiny wee bit, which didn't really help me much, but I am still getting incredible amount of cash tips, and my son's watching me live. You're the only person on? Oh, now I got two. Okay, cool. So I got two people on my in my chat room. right now. And anyways, so we took a step forward with opening the state a little bit for some businesses that he thought were less hazardous in terms of catching the coronavirus. How he came up with that, nobody knows. I guess he's got some kind of magic psychic power, but nevertheless, he did that, and then he imposed the forced isolation starting in Ventura County. So that was another step backwards. I hope it doesn't happen in my family, consisting of me, myself, and my son. But anyways, pretty discouraging. And then there was the Plandemic movie that's coming out this summer. They showed a clip with some doctor on there, and immediately the lamestream media was aghast that she got 8 million views before YouTube took it down. Then I saw her being interviewed by Dr. McCoy. She's kind of an interesting polarizing figure. I kind of like her. She's kind of an outcast doctor, and trying to speak the truth, and being branded as a total fraud by the mainstream media, which means that she's probably telling the truth. And oh, my son got out of my chat room. What happened? Anyways, the person who's normally in my chat room knew that I was going to talk about coronavirus. I was done talking about Fletch. Oh, it's weird. Now it says 0 people in my chat room. Oh, now there's 1. Okay. So the other person left. Got sick and tired of hearing my coronavirus stuff, so that's fine. I just wanted to get my Fletch review in. Oh, now I got 2. They're back. Welcome back. Anyways, not a good movie. Can't recommend it. Can't say check it out. A lot of big name actors. I put their names in the description box. You got Geena Davis, Emmet Walsh. You've got the Blade Runner guy. You've got Mitchell. You've got Chevy Chase, of course, big name actor, a lot of star power. So yeah, it's a mainstream movie with a bunch of big name actors. That's the only way I know how to describe it. And it's a really lame comedy, very unfunny. And, I don't know why people like Chevy Chase so much. He's not funny, and they think he's like the funniest guy on the planet. The SNL people, okay, the funny ones are you got Chris Farley. He was pretty good. And then another funny guy was David Spade. He did Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt was a great movie. The Chris Farley movies are pretty funny, but I really like Joe Dirt. So if you're going to watch Saturday Night Live actors doing movies, check out Joe Dirt, or Beverly Hills Ninja is pretty funny. Black Sheep, that's another good one. The Chris Farley movies aren't great, but they are pretty goofy and funny. So those are only 2 Saturday Night Live actors that I really actually enjoyed watching their movies. Chevy Chase is not one of my favorite Saturday Night Live comedians turned mainstream movie star. So that's about it. Just wanted to get that in, and sorry I inserted my coronavirus update, but I had to talk about that since everybody's talking about it. My coworker wants everybody to wear masks at work, but it's like 40% of the people in the office are wearing masks. They think it's stuffy and it's suffocating. And he's all going nuts about it. Like, what would the health department say about that? This guy's pretty, he's like a germaphobe. And ironically, there are about 3 or 4 guys like that in the permitting department where I work. So it's going to be interesting when they come back to start saying, why are you not wearing a mask? Where's the leadership? Blah, blah, blah. It's going to be good. It's going to be like a scene from a dystopian movie, put it that way. Of course, nobody wants to get the vaccine because they're trying to rush it through without even testing it on animals. So I know I'm not going to get jabbed with any coronavirus vaccine. They probably won't even make one. It's impossible. They've been trying since 2002, and they can't even make one. So I don't think I have to worry about it. But I could be wrong. I'm not a scientific person, but I do know that I have heard it from other people, other experts like that doctor from Plandemic, that it's impossible to make a vaccine for an upper respiratory disease like this. It's like trying to make a vaccine for the common cold. It's not going to happen. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because you got all these companies scrambling to make a vaccine. It's like trying to get a cure for AIDS or a common cold, that kind of thing. So interesting stuff. I watched about an hour of the interview with Dr. McCullough and what's her name? The new darling of the conspiracy theorists, according to the mainstream media. It's Dr. Judy Mikovits, that's her name, and she's getting she's being told that everything she says is false, which probably means that everything she says is true, considering the source, like I said. And she's saying the mask, even wearing a mask actually increases the chances of catching the coronavirus, which of course would irritate the lamestream media to no end. And she's also saying that it was an accident that the coronavirus was escaped from the lab and went into the water supply to infect that Wuhan market, which is kind of an interesting take. I've heard all kinds of theories and speculation about how that coronavirus first spread in China, but she's got a unique kind of angle on it because she was involved with a lot of the studies going on in North Carolina, I think. I'm not sure if she was tied with a separate story that I read, but she's definitely got an interesting angle since she was working with Dr. Fauci. And of course, Dr. Fauci doesn't know anything that she's talking about because he's got a lot to hide with his HIV nonsense. He said HIV was going to start spreading towards heterosexuals, and it's kind of interesting how she kind of talked about him, how the AIDS virus wasn't necessarily being spread by homosexuals and IV drug users. There was an infection in the blood supply. You think of Ryan White or Arthur Ashe kind of situation. They both got AIDS from blood transfusion. I had completely forgotten about that. But those are just two examples. I don't know how widespread it was, but she seems to think that it was widespread. So that was kind of something new that I had never heard. And she also said that if you get HIV, you can be, you don't necessarily have to get AIDS and die from it. So that was kind of interesting, different take from a doctor who knows something. She's a lot of technical stuff that kind of went over my head, but anyways, she's got a lot of interesting things to say, and definitely riles up the lamestream media at the same time. So check her out. She's her book is on the New York Times bestseller list, and like I said, her pandemic clip, I think it's about 25 minutes. It got 8 million views before YouTube took it down. So pretty cool stuff. People are actually watching this and paying attention. Believe it or not, 8 million is a lot of views. So I don't know how many of those 8 million or actually believe what she says, but it must be a significant chunk. So pretty interesting stuff. I thought I'd run that by you. And yeah, Fletch was boring as heck. I don't know how long it is, but it seemed like it was just dragged on too long. Let's see. How long is this sucker? I'm curious now. 98 minutes. So we're talking an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, that is kind of long. Had a budget of 8 million and made 59 million. So yeah, it's definitely one of those mainstream movies. Didn't win any Academy Awards. Even Roger Ebert thought it was kind of lame. Roger Ebert gave it 2.5 stars, so he liked it a little better. But my review is kind of consistent with Roger Ebert. But anyways, that's the end of my review. Try to get through Ordinary People and Daddy-O next week. What else do I got coming down the pike? I'm returning 2 Netflix DVDs. Like I said, I finally got through my Monopoly tickets and I'm gonna drive him home. It's 6:29. I got 31 minutes to get him home. Kind of ironic on Mother's Day he gets to spend time with me, but we haven't been doing much, just eating and doing our thing indoors. But anyways, come on. Netflix takes forever to load. Okay, here we go. We got my Netflix queue. Oh, I went a little bit too far. Let's see. Okay. So I got Racing Stripes and Snow Dogs. A couple of kids movies. Both PG. By the way, Fletch is PG. So, not a good flick. Not recommended. Don't check it out. Put the actors' names in the description box, and that's about all I have to say. Laters.